It says that we are live. It is the 19th of August, 2024. This is probably the little 30-second clip for the replay crew. So thank you, replay crew, for being here. Dana says we're 5 by 5. So apparently we're actually already live. Sam, there's two witnesses there. All right. What's up, YouTubes? Good morning, everybody. I'm Bear from the internet. We're going to do the brief today. I have been scrolling through multiple air quote news sources this morning, trying to find something that's actually worth talking about. And most of it's blah, 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 in my humble opinion. So there are a couple of things we're going to talk about. We're going to do a little compare contrast between Kamala and 45 Donald J. Trump, the big T, and compare their policies, because there's a lot of people who are saying, like, they're basically the same. Why? Because the Democrats are copying all of Trump's policies, or that's the perception. So we're going to look at that. We're going to talk a little bit about the Ukrainian incursion into Russia, and then maybe the air quote Gaza peace deal, which we'll see. We'll see. Sound good? Okay, cool. Sounds good. Hey, super cool. Refuge Medical is up to 132 lives saved with our kits, which is amazing. Praise the Most High. And speaking of the Most High, the show is brought to you by the creator of the universe and the fine people over at Patreon. Link is in the description. And of course, refugemedical.com. I'm the founder and the CEO. Also, I did you guys, I don't know if it's a favor or not, but at the behest of, I guess we'd call him my producer, my media guy, J.A. Dudley, I've been using the same 1080p camera that Matthew Goza sent me 5 years ago. Well, we finally upgraded to 4K, baby. So you get to see this ridiculous looking face in high definition clarity now. So you're welcome, ? Also, Friday, we had the inaugural episode, recording the inaugural episode of the Bear Independent podcast, actual long-form conversational content. You do look more crisp. Thanks, Dana. I feel very crisp this morning. And had some really good production quality for that. Thank you, Brother Dudley. And I'm retarded. I figured I'd have about a 60-minute conversation with my brother, the Angry Viking therapist, Dr. Trevor Wilkins. And that went for 3.5 hours of what I think was fascinating conversation. So look for that. That'll be coming soon. Okay? Okay, there. Awesome. Let's pull up the written brief. The gray is sharper. Thank you, VA Recycler. It is 19th August 2024. The political frenzy is building as Vice President Kamala and former President Donald Trump hit the campaign trail. The latest New York Times and Siena College polls show that Harris is closely trailing Trump in Nevada and Georgia. By the way, brief caveat, I don't believe the polls at all. I think a lot of the polling is being manufactured to create the illusion that she's an incredibly popular president, which is going to be required when they try to steal the election again in 2024, just like they did in 2020. And when you say things like that, you get thrown off of YouTube, which is why we have a Patreon. So hopefully you're following us over there. Okay. Awesome. The margins between Harris and Trump are much closer, with no more than 5% difference between the two candidates. However, their approaches to policy are not close to each other at all. Political writers noted of the Harris campaign, quote, one metaphor we heard over and over is that it's the same plane, just with a different pilot. But that understates the changes, end quote. Here's a distilled rundown of some of their respective viewpoints on key issues. And shout out to the Dance Monkeys on this, our Intel at Bear Independent team, for putting this together, because they had to wade through a bunch of political bullshit in order to come up with this. And I'm glad that it wasn't me that had to do this. I'm just going to be the talking head that reads it on camera. Cool. Oh, Liberty's here. Liberty. I know nothing about Liberty Mutual, but I do know some things about Liberty, and she's cool. Okay, so on abortion, Harris calls for federal legislation guaranteeing abortion access. criticizes Republican state bans on abortion, and promises to block a nationwide ban should it clear a GOP-run Congress, and promotes administration efforts to protect women who travel for abortions and limit law enforcement's ability to collect medical records. Trump is proud of appointing Supreme Court justices who overturned Roe v. Wade, says abortion decisions should be left to states, so that's a 10th Amendment right issue, which is true because it's not in the Constitution. Alabama Mouse Boy, $5. Thank you. Appreciate that. Interesting name, by the way. What do you do? Do you raise mice? Are you just very fond of mice? Do you look like a mouse? I'm very confused. Were you a supporting actor in Ratatouille? Anyway, Alabama, whatever you're into, bro, I guess. Are you a furry? Do you wear like little mouse ears? You got like a pile of cedar chips in the corner of your room you like curl up in at the end of the day? Like, it's been a rough day. I'm just gonna go over here and hit this water bottle a little bit, chew on some of these pellets, just lay down in the wood chips. Hey man, whatever you're into. Oh, look at the squirrel. Wait a minute, it's a mouse. Tell me you ADD without telling me you ADD. For those who are listening, that was a super chat, and I got distracted. Trump is proud of appointing Supreme Court justices who overturned Roe v. Wade, says abortion decisions should be left to states, including prosecuting of women or monitoring of pregnancies, and will not sign a national abortion ban law. Now, I'm an American, for those that don't know, and you have a constitutionally protected God-given right to life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, previously amended from property. And then there were some people who were property, and that was a bad deal for the nation and for those people individually. And anyway, it was amended to the pursuit of happiness. I'm also a pastor, and I'm also a biblical literalist, and I'm also a follower of Messiah and a firm believer in the Most High. If we look at the biblical example of people who want to kill children, they've always been the enemy. Now, individual who may be considering the abortion or maybe has had an abortion, for those individuals, I have a massive amount of empathy for them because I know a lot of people who have gone through that, and almost to a person, they say it's the worst decision they've ever made. It just tore them up and they regret doing it. But for the people at the top who perpetuate that, what about the Canaanite children, Squiggles McJr.? So let's hold on. I'll come back to your question, even though this isn't a Q&A, because I will answer that question because it requires an answer. Although you're probably not going to like it. For the people at the top, the upper echelons who, abortion is rooted in eugenics, which is the concept that certain races of people are superior to other certain races of people. The people that push abortion from the top down and make it part of their agenda, their policies, have no love in the world for those people. And if we look historically and biblically at who those people are, they are always the bad guys. And so for that reason, I do not support the taking of innocent life. I am very pro-life. I am for the preservation of life. And if that's one of the things that you disagree with, you're welcome to your opinion. And if that's a deal breaker for you, I guess you got to unsubscribe and listen to somebody else or watch somebody else. Whatever. Now, what about the Canaanite children, Squiggles McJr.? Quick biblical history lesson. In Genesis chapter 6, verse 4, it talks about fallen angels. 1/3 of the angels fell, led by an angel named Shemjaza, and they fell to Mount Hermon. And they took a blood pact because they were jealous of men, because men have legacy. So we have progeny, offspring, and we have an inheritance. And the angels did not have that. They wanted that. And so they copulated with the daughters of men who were fair in form, beautiful. And they bore offspring. And their first offspring were the great giants, which were the great giants very, very large, 300 to 450 foot tall. Their offspring were the Iliud, 100 to 150 foot tall, and their offspring were the Nephilim, 10 to 15 foot tall. And the great giants ate their children, the Iliud. The Iliud ate their children, the Nephilim, and the Nephilim ate people. That's why you get so many commands in the Bible: do not drink the blood, do not partake of the blood, for the life is in the blood. The Father cleansed the earth with a mikvah, a global flood, because Noah was found the only one found righteous in his generations. That word generations is the Hebrew word beidoratav, which literally describes a double helix of DNA, meaning that he was the only one. 4,000 years ago, describes a double helix of DNA, beidoratav, because he was the only one with uncorrupted flesh. Well, we believe, the traditions are, that Noah had three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and Ham's wife was of corrupted flesh. And so the giants continued in the land. The giants had a pattern of behavior where they ate and slaughtered children. And then you get into Canaanite and pagan worship to people like Baal and Molech, where children are slaughtered. These people groups that descend from Ham, including Canaan, Put, Lud, Cush, and Canaan, I believe it is, are the sons of Ham. They were all corrupted flesh. And so when people read the Bible, we think they're people just like we are. They're not. They were not people just like we were. They were corrupted flesh. And that's why Numbers chapter 25, the story of Balaam and Balak, the Midianite women and the king of Moab, were not allowed to intermarry with them because they are corrupted flesh. And so when Joshua leads the Israelites into the promised land and says, put all these people under the ban, meaning kill them all, it's because you think of them as people, but they were not people. Okay? They were not people. They might have looked like us, behaved a little bit like us, but if there was a colony of gray aliens over there, next town over, and they were like, hey, we want to intermarry with you and raise up families, you'd be like, I don't know. Well, I don't know what you would say. I'd say, no, we're going to cut your heads off. We're going to stick them on sharpened sticks so that people know, no, we don't mess with that. Okay? They were different than us. They are different than us. And remember, Messiah says in Matthew 24 that the end times shall be like unto the days of Noah, beidoratav, DNA, uncorrupted flesh. So be very, 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 very careful about A, what you do to corrupt your own flesh, and B, what you put in your body that is corrupted flesh. And I would add C, don't put your body, your reproductive organs, into corrupted flesh. So that's what's up with the children of Canaan. Shall we continue? Yes, we shall. Climate and energy. Harris was an early sponsor of the Green New Deal, focuses on implementing climate provisions of the Inflation Reduction Act, which is a several $1 trillion redistribution of wealth, and supports financial incentives for electric cars and clean energy products. Now, interestingly, you're going to get commentary. That's why we're here. I quit doing that. Good for you, Mark Chase. Appreciate you, bro. First of all, renewable energy is a sham. I know this because I was in that industry. The carbon offset for one wind turbine is approximately 25 years before it goes from the red to the black. It has a 25-year lifespan. So we're in the hole for every wind turbine we stand up. When you look at the manufacturing processes of making the blades and the rotors is what they're called, and the generators and the towers and the concrete and the cement for the concrete and all the reinforcing steel and all the diesel to ship it and all that, when you look at it, all encompassing that one wind turbine, every one we put up, we're in the red from a carbon offset standpoint, and they only work when the wind blows. And well, what about solar? 90+% of it's manufactured in China. Can you say redistribution of wealth, bro? Why do the Democrats support renewable energy? Because most of this stuff's made in China. That's why. And also because it weakens the resiliency of the United States, because we're now operating our national grids in such a way that we barely have any headroom to match line and load. We can barely meet capacity as it is. Electric cars, 93% unpopular. A recent poll that I saw concerning electric cars. Do you think electric cars are good for the environment? Was the question. 93% of respondents said no. I don't know if you've ever seen a copper mine or a lithium mine, but it doesn't exactly look good for the environment. And then you add in the fact that most of that stuff, a lot of that stuff anyway, is coming from Africa, where child slave labor is being used to pull it out of the ground literally with people's hands. In the case of things like lithium, they're dying from the diseases that they're getting, these children, 8 to 12-year-old kids, because they're available and fit into the mines better. They die these horrendous deaths because they had to pull the freaking cobalt out of the ground and the lithium out of the ground with their bare hands to make your fancy ass car. Bullshit. Not a fan. And then, of course, the Inflation Reduction Act. That was a trillions of dollars redistribution of wealth from the lowest echelons of society to the highest echelons of society through taxation. Not a fan. Trump promotes increased oil drilling on public lands. Yeah, I'm with that. I think the United States should be energy independent. Wants to offer tax breaks to oil, gas, and coal producers. Yes, I'm with that. Plans to speed approval of natural gas pipelines. Yes. Would roll back efforts to promote electric cars. Yes. Pledges to exit the Paris Climate Accords again. Yes. Now, to be clear, for those who maybe don't know me, this is the first time you found me, I am not a Trump sycophant. There are things about the man I do not like. I don't care how he talks, locker room talk, and he has a thing for ladies. Okay. I care about things like, I don't know, I'm the kind of take the guns first and then ask questions guy. I don't like that. I don't like the bump stock ban, and I don't like Operation Warp Speed. Okay. Just to be perfectly clear on this, I'm more or less convinced that national level politics in the United States of America is ultimately bullshit anyway. But many of y'all are not convinced of that, which is why we're having this conversation. Coffee time. Democracy and rule of law. Harris portrays Trump as a threat to democracy, emphasizes her background as a prosecutor in Trump's guilty verdict of 34 felony accounts, and has opposed Project 2025. Trump hasn't committed to accepting the 2024 election results, promises to pardon January 6th defendants, vows to overhaul Justice Department and FBI, and has said he would terminate the Education Department. I think all those things on the Trump side are reasonable. It's interesting that Kamala Harris, who was appointed, not democratically selected, says that Trump is a threat to democracy. Protection from black magic bear. Northern Girl Hobbies. Apparently, we're doing a little bit of Q&A this morning as well. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, here's the thing. Okay. Protection from black magic. Northern Girl Hobbies, I don't know what your disposition is, but let me just go ahead in a nutshell. I'm going to say all this stuff really quickly. You can come into agreement with it or you cannot. I don't care. But you asked the question, so here's the answer. You need to believe that Yeshua is Hamashiach, that Jesus is the Christ, and be covered by that blood. From a multitude of reasons. 1, for the eternal disposition of your soul. 2, for remediation of sin. 3, for a model to walk after in this life. And 4, because you are then grafted into Israel. Romans 11 and Ephesians chapter 2. Why is it important to be grafted into Israel? And I don't mean the nation state over there half a world away. I mean the people group that is Israel as defined in Genesis chapter 32, which means he who is striving with Elohim, who's wrestling with God. He who is overcome with Elohim by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony, and he or she, in your case, who is ruling with Elohim. Exodus 19 verse 6 and Revelation 1 verse 6. You are part of the family, Israel. There's one family, the people group of Israel, not the nation state over there, not the Jews, Israel, the Father's chosen people, okay, for clarity. And a lot of you people are hearing this for the first time. You've already taken half the things I've said out of context. Do your own research, spend some more dwell time. I have read the entirety of the New Testament on camera and most of the Old Testament, working my way through the minor prophets now. So YouTube search bar, but Bear, what about Galatians? Bear independent Galatians. That's what I think about Galatians. Okay. You want to be Israel. Why does that matter? Because it is not possible to curse the father's people. Going back to the story of Numbers 25 through 30, Balaam and Balak, the false prophet of Elohim who tries to curse the children of Israel, and he can't. And the curse that he tries to lay at the feet of the children of Israel is actually the triune blessing that's given by the messenger of Elohim, capital M, messenger of Elohim. This is Yeshua before he's in the flesh, who comes to Abraham in the book of Genesis and says, I will make your seed as numerous as the sands of the seashore. You will possess the gates of your enemy, and in you all the nations of the earth shall be blessed. And then Balaam, the false prophet, is trying to curse the children of Israel. He ends up blessing them because the words that are being put into his mouth are being put there by the messenger of Elohim. And the curse comes out, and what does he say? You are as numerous as the sands of the seashore. Check. And you will possess the gates of your enemies. Check. And in you all the nations of the earth shall be blessed. Check. You can't curse the children of Elohim. And now that's biblically. Now here is the tactical thing you got to understand. What you believe, you give power to. So if you believe somebody has cursed you with black magic, you've been cursed with black magic. I reject that shit outright. I laugh at it. It's like, that's cute. Cool story, bro. Whatever. Because I know who I am. I don't have an identity crisis. I'm a son of the Most High. Exodus 15, verse 3, Yahweh is a warrior. Yahweh is his name. And he rejoices to come to fight to help his children. And I'm covered by the blood of the Lamb, and no weapon formed against me shall prosper. I laugh at it, right? So I know real power. I'm unafraid of imaginary power. And I have the spiritual equivalent of I'm rubber, you're glue. What bounces off me sticks to you. Okay. So whatever you believe, you give power to. If you think you've been cursed, congratulations, you've been cursed. I know it's not possible to curse me. You can try. Good for you. Karma's a bitch. Best of luck. Me, I'm gonna be over here doing my thing, serving Elohim. So you need to square yourself away with a relationship with the creator of the universe by the blood of the Son. That's what you need to do. And then black magic is just a cutesy little thing over there that somebody thinks that I'm going to rattle some bones around in a little dish. And it's like, you know what the Torah says we do with people like that? We cavitate their foreheads and we pay them no respect. How's that for an answer? I don't know if I love this or hate this. I'll tell you what, I love it. This is good for me. I don't know if you love it because we're supposed to get on here and read some political bullshit. But instead we're preaching the word of Elohim. And so for me, this is really good for me. I like it. I don't know if you guys like it or not. I'm seeing some I love it's in the chat. What's up, Bertrand? Squiggle McJr., Low-Key Performance. What's up, Tato? If you bless those who curse you, the curse is reversed onto themselves. That's how the kingdom works. Angela, you've inspired me to get my ass in gear for the ruckus. Accountability, I will lose at least 50 pounds by March. I will go to the gym at least 2 times a week. I will help you smash Team Crunchy. Go help you smash Team Creamy. Go Team Crunchy. Heck yes. Team Crunchy. They call me Captain Crunch, you know. Are we here for tribulation? Are we here for tribulation? Oh my gosh. Biblical Q&A. I'll tell you what. Go watch my Revelation series of videos. And then watch my Ezekiel videos, specifically Ezekiel 37, 38, and 39. If we're going to be here for tribulation, it's going to need to hurry up. That's my opinion of it. We are in tribulation. I disagree completely with that. I disagree completely with we are in tribulation. I think life, right? Squiggles McJr., your whole life is tribulation. I agree with that. Why? Because we cleanse through fire and water, right? We have to separate the wheat from the chaff, the sheep from the goats. But if you're talking about the tribulation as prophesied in the book of Revelation, I think we are very far out from that. And I think that it's dangerous to look at geopolitical world events and compare and contrast them against what is said in the Bible without having a full grasp of what is said in the Bible. And now, some people that I deeply respect and love do that, and I'm willing to hear their opinions. But most of the people who do that do not. They don't even. If I said, okay, flip to the book of Jude, they wouldn't even know where the hell it was in the Bible. Okay, people who can't find the book of Jude in the Bible, I don't care what their end times eschatology is. Okay. Palmetto, LOL, this is a pretty chill tribulation. Yeah, exactly. If this is tribulation, John owes me an explanation. Simple as that. Where's my creamy shirt? I'm actually working with my wife later today for the Team Creamy versus Team Crunchy. Now, immigration. Harris supports comprehensive immigration reform, endorses pathway to citizenship for some immigrants, and defends bipartisan Senate compromise on border security. Trump promises large-scale deportations, would revive and expand travel bans, and plans to end birthright citizenship for children of illegal immigrants. Again, I got to say I side with Trump. As far as Harris is concerned, supports comprehensive immigration reform. She was supposed to be the border czar. She's been in office for 3.5 years already, and our immigration policies are shit. Endorses pathway to citizenship for some immigrants. Which ones? The MS-13 gangbangers or the good ones? Defends bipartisan Senate compromise on border security. No, I don't think we should compromise at all on border security. Trump wanted what, 5 to 7 billion to build the wall, and they just awarded $400+ billion for immigration. Right? Like the whole thing's stupid. They awarded $413 billion to support immigrants here in the United States of America when we were engaged in building a $7 million, not billion, $million restoration facility for juvenile human trafficking survivors. And we're beating our head against the wall so that we can be. Now, I say that we're wonderfully supported by y'all, the Bear Nation, but we're not fully funded. But the government's going to take $413 billion from you, the taxpayer, which is twice what has been spent on the Ukraine war thus far, to feed, house, clothe, educate, register, relocate millions of people that cross the border illegally. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely absurd. I'm not for that. I have tribulation every day, like battling wasps trying to fill the tractor with fuel. There you go. The money sent to Ukraine alone couldn't build a southern and northern border wall. I actually disagree with that, Jupiter Mojo. I disagree with that because it's not that expensive to build a functional wall. And by wall, I'm talking about a series of like fences and gates and sensors. I know this because I know the owner of a company who built 700 miles of it in Arizona. We talk. He was a subcontractor on some of the big jobs that I used to do back in the day. It's not that expensive. Now, it's expensive. Like you and I are not going to be able to afford it, but with the collective purchasing power of the taxpayers of the United States of America, yeah. So I actually meant could have. Gotcha. All right. Well, then we're in agreement, Jupiter Mojo. International issues. Harris supports Israel's right to defend itself, but advocates for better protection for Gazans. Endorses a two-state solution for Israel and Gaza, has praised Biden's effort to rebuild alliances unraveled by Trump, and has showed no indications of opposing Biden's policies, such as endorsing a tripling of Chinese steel tariffs to protect the U.S. from cheap imports. Okay, I actually support tariffs on Chinese steel. I think a two-state solution for Israel and Gaza is just kicking the can down the road. I do agree that Israel has a right to defend itself. As far as better protections for Gazans, the Palestinian Authority is run by a bunch of chumps who are taking the money that has been transferred to them by NGOs and world organizations and using it to live lavish lifestyles outside of Gaza, and then taking the material that's been provided, for example, like water pipes for distribution of water in Gaza, and using those as tubes for mortars and rockets. So Yeah, better quality of life for Gazans. Yeah, I'm for better quality of life for everybody, but their leadership sucks. So that's why that hasn't happened. And let's see, has praised Biden's effort to rebuild alliances unraveled by Trump. Who has Biden built alliances with in the last 3.5 years? Oh, wait. We have stronger, I mean, other than China and Ukraine, where his Democratic friends and his son have been extrapolating capital from. Who? Are we stronger with the Germans, the French, the English, the Australians, the Canadians, Mexico? Probably his nurse, Bjork. That's a good answer. Trump supports Israel's efforts against Hamas, but is critical of their tactics. Calls for aggressive responses to pro-Palestinian protests. Now that I agree with. Here domestically, um, I think we get some like D9 high tracks with like 28-foot blades on the front of them, and we just truck them around the country. Hey, there's going to be a pro-Palestinian or a pro-whatever protest. And here's the deal, okay? You have a constitutionally protected God-given right to address your grievances to your governing authorities. And I'm 100% in support of that. The moment you infringe upon somebody else's liberty, you become violent, you start beating people, burning things, breaking out windows, looting. Nope. You don't have a constitutional right for that. And that's where the D9 high tracks come in. And we just put that bitch in high gear and start rolling. If you're getting away, you're getting away. Guess you shouldn't have been here. What's up, Gary? Shalom, brother. We had in the little town where our office used to be, several years ago, 5 years ago or so, we had a BLM march down the main street where our office was at, Refuge Medical's office was at. And there were 238 people there. Us, our tribe, mutual assistance group, we had several dozen people there. We had plainclothes people embedded in the demonstration that were reporting back to us. We had Overwatch. We had a 12-man fully kitted up QRF. We had a TOC. We had a med bay. We had medical people on staff, intel officers, commo officers, all stood up. And then we were working with the local police and the county sheriffs as well. And I went to the organizer of the BLM march, went right up to him, talked to him. I said, hey, here's the deal. You have a God-given, constitutionally protected right for you to march up and down this street and say whatever you want to do. And I support that. But the moment you or your people get out of hand, we're shutting it down. He's like, okay. And a couple blocks down the road, opposite corner, there were a couple dozen, maybe 30 very vocal pro-Trump supporters waving, Trump flags and American flags and saying vile things to these BLM people. And they felt empowered by our presence. And I went over and I talked to those guys and I said, hey, you have a God-given, constitutionally protected right to stand out here and say whatever you want to say. But the moment you lay hands on anybody out here, or the moment you get violent, you are now my enemy. I'm not here for you. I'm here for me. They were like, oh, yeah. Y'all behave yourselves too. Okay. And so I'm all for people screaming at the top of their lungs, this is bullshit. Okay. And we can disagree vehemently over what your definition of bullshit is, but you have a God-given, constitutionally protected right to be able to say that. Organize your march. March up and down the streets, wave your flags, say whatever you want to say. I'm all for that. Do it. You break my shit or hurt my people, I'm going to break you back. Simple as that. And the local police knew that. The county sheriffs knew that. We coordinated with another mutual assistance group in our area as well. They had people out as well. Several dozen people in teams roving around. And it was great. It was a wonderful exercise. But these Chaz Chop, remember that? They take over an area of downtown Seattle, take the police station by force the moment that happens. Mm-mm-mm. No. Shut it down. Shut it down, boys. Bring in the D9s. Armored D9s with 28-foot cattle pusher blades on the front of it. And that's it. If you get caught by the D9, that's your fault. Shouldn't have been there. Do 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 do. All right, international issues. Harris supports Israel's right to defend itself. We already talked about that. Do. Trump supports Israel's efforts against Hamas, but critical of tactics, calls for aggressive responses to pro-Palestinian protests, has proposed revoking student visas of anyone with anti-Semitic or anti-American views. That's where it gets tricky, because you're allowed to believe whatever you want to believe in this country. You just can't, like non-aggression principle that the high AF, idyllic, retarded libertarians love to throw around. Non-aggression principle, bro. But what happens if somebody gets aggressive? Do we then continue to play by the non-aggression principle? No. You aggress me at a 10%, I aggress you at a 3,000%, and then drink wine from the skulls of my enemies. Sorry, that's just the way that I'm built. Like I'm your best friend until I got a reason not to be. In which case, D9 dozer. See previous comments. Okay, so you express anti-American or anti-Semitic views. I don't have to agree with you, but if you want to get on the internet and just rant about like the international global Jewish conspiracy to put, okay, whatever, that's your right. Do that. I don't care. And define America. I think our government is bullshit. Is that anti-American? So if I have anti-American views, which part of America? The people of America? The corporate capitalism of America? Even though I'm pro-capitalism, pro-laissez-faire, pro-small business, I'm anti-taxation. Is that anti-American? I'm anti the federal government. Trump wants to delete the United States Department of Education. Agreed. Isn't that anti-American? Couldn't that be considered anti-American? Skydozer, FPV, LOL. Skydozer, you're in charge of the D9 brigade. Okay, awesome. See, like, define anti-American views. Define anti-Semitic views. I don't have to agree with you. You don't have to agree with me. But you're allowed to say whatever you want to say. And you're allowed to do whatever you want to do, as long as you're not actually hurting somebody else. And I don't mean with words, I mean with actions. Okay. Turk FPS. Shalom, brother. I disagree with what you have to say, but I will defend to death your right to say it. Absolutely, right? That's America. We don't have to agree. And I'll tell you what else. You should be able to articulate why you think what you think that I agree with or disagree with. But we have so many vapid assholes now that just like scrolled through Instagram, found a couple talking points, and now they're passionately in support of this thing that they don't even understand. Like that's anti-American. Tell me why you believe what you believe. And if you can make a good argument, you might be able to sway my opinion on the matter. But if you can't make a good argument, okay, fine. And you go over there and believe whatever you want to believe. I'll be over here believing whatever I want to believe. And as long as we don't actually hurt each other, as long as I'm not throwing hand grenades over the fence into your backyard, who cares? Like, who cares? And not to sound like some hippy dippy a-hole, but I'm pretty damn certain most of this country actually agrees on the big things. What we disagree about is the implementation on how to make forward progress. But I'll give you an example. My sister-in-law lives in Seattle. Okay. Now, and is quite happy there and has all the worldviews that come with living in Seattle. And one would think, like, oh, we have nothing to talk about. I live in Eastern Oklahoma. She lives in Seattle. I'm this big, surrounded by firearms. I eat sheep that come out of that field right there. Like, I read the Bible every day, right? Like, you know, and she does her. We actually have a ton in common. You know how we found that out? By talking to each other. And what we disagreed on, we didn't disagree that progress needed to be made, the changes need to be made. We disagreed on how those changes should be made. Okay, that's more conversation. That's it. But most of the country, I think, is actually on the same page, more or less. And what has happened is that the radical extremes of the spectrum, the far left and the far right, have and again, if you don't mind, it don't matter. Like, what do I do about somebody trying to work black magic against me? That shit's make believe. Who cares? I'm, again, pretty certain that national level politics in this country are make believe. So who cares? They're going to do whatever they want to do anyway. But the people of this country, anti-American. I'm not anti-American people. I, by and large, love our people. I've traveled 38 of the lower 48 states I've either lived in or worked in. I've met awesome people everywhere. And I've met scumbags everywhere because that's just the human condition. It's like, I hate New Jersey, but I don't hate New Jerseyans, right? Like, I don't like the state of New Jersey, but I have a lot of awesome people that I know in New Jersey, plus great diners, right? Like diner capital of the world. Upstate New York. I hate the politics of New York, but there's great people there, right? People that I love live in California. Yeah, I know. So, anti-American views define America, right? Like, I'm anti this political bullshit. I'm anti being taxed to death. I'm anti infringements upon my freedoms. I'm anti expanding the federal government beyond the scope as written in, I was going to say the 10 Commands, in the Constitution of the United States of America, which, by the way, if you want to grow the scope of the federal government, do it legally and add amendments to the Constitution. I'm pro 10th Amendment state rights. I'm pro individual liberties. I'm pro laissez-faire capitalism. I'm pro leave me the hell alone and I will leave you the hell alone. And I'm also pro if you start some shit, I'll finish it and I will destroy your family lineage. I will burn your family tree to the ground and make soap with the ashes of that tree and wash my ass with it. I'm pro that. So define anti-American. Shall we continue? Trump has vowed to fundamentally reevaluate the NATO alliance, has said that as president, he has warned leaders that he would refuse to defend nations that didn't hit their NATO military spending targets, but would also encourage Russia to do whatever the hell they want to delinquent nations, intends to expand tariffs on almost all imported goods. I actually agree with that. Okay, so you want the United States to fund the defense of your country. You're not going to live up to your NATO spending requirements. So now we got to tax our people because you won't do what you need to do. And as a result, oh no, Russia's threatening us. Fine. Good. Maybe that'll motivate you to spend 2% of GDP on defense, right? Most of the people here watching this are preppers, right? I think that's an accurate statement, even though I think prepper is a dirty word. Okay. We're into preparedness, right? Survivability, sustainment, uh, preservation of life. Do you spend more than 2% of your annual GDP on firearms, ammunition, and training? I bet you do. I do. Think about it. I do. 2%. That's a joke. You priced ammo lately? Like 2%? And these people got guns and tanks and bombs and planes and submarines and nuclear weapons and well, we can't hit 2%. 2%. Bro, 2%. I'll take 2% of your GDP. Give me some little nothing nation. Give me 2% of Romania's GDP. All right. Hey, Bear Nation, we're up. We are armed. Somebody figure out how to drive the Bradleys. Okay. What's up, Hans? Dana, I spent way more than that. Yeah, instructor problems, 100%. My go-to when I feel like I'm getting low on ammo is I go clean and organize the barn, and I find on average 3 to 5,000 more rounds of ammunition that I didn't know that I had. I love it. But I'm in a different place than most. I've been prepping for almost 20 years. And so, yeah. Anyway, when you find 20-year-old MREs, it's like, I don't know about this one. Feed it to the kids, see what happens. They're teenagers, they're very robust. Thoughts on Trump wanting to remove federal income tax? I wish he would. I wish he would. I 100% wish that he would. Not only do I believe the federal income tax is actually unconstitutional, it is crippling our economy. Small business in the United States of America is more than 50% of our GDP, gross domestic product. If you saw the taxes that I have to pay as a small business owner, every one of you would puke in your mouth. And this is not a woe is me moment, but how am I supposed to hire more people, produce more products, acquire more assets, serve more customers when, depending on what math you do, 30 to 70% of my revenue goes to the government? People over here arguing about, like, what would you do if you lived in a socialist country? I already live in one. Social Security. That shit will be defunct before I can ever draw from it. And they have taken it from me and all of you your entire lives, and it'll be bankrupt by the time you need to draw from it. And it's non-negotiable. Taxes are non-negotiable. Taxation isn't theft, it's extortion. Because if you don't pay it, men with guns will come and either kill you or put you in a box. It's extortion. It's the threat of violence, which is why we have a Second Amendment, because the government shall not have a monopoly on force in the United States of America. And then that gets me into the gun culture. Oh, bro, should I put like a micro red dot optic on the slide cut on my new pistol? Who cares? Can you shoot the freaking pistol? Yeah, I shoot all the time to flat range. What's the pistol for? Huh, well, defending myself from bad guys. Define bad guys. If the mafia showed up to your house every 30 days and took 30 to 70% of your money and said, you're going to pay us, we're going to beat you with baseball bats, would they be good guys or bad guys? Yeah, right? But the government does it, and it's like, oh, well, yeah, it's just the way that it is. Let's spend $500 billion on the IRS and another 87,000 agents so we can increase taxation when our forefathers were throwing shit into the ocean over a 2% tax. Uh-huh. We already have a socialist country. We may get a communist one if Kamala gets elected. We're already there. We got people arguing over, like, do you like front slide serrations on your Glock 17? Dude, shut up. Oh, AR versus AK. Retarded. Do you have homies? Do you have the ability to maintain a comfortable distance from tyranny? Can you produce your own food? Well, I like this general purpose pouch versus that. Okay, whatever. Stupid. Absolutely stupid. It's like a bunch of 7-year-olds sitting on the floor playing with Barbie dolls. Should I put these shoes on it or these shoes? Who cares? Like, if your shit is not already covered with mud and sweat stains, you ain't gonna make it, homie. You ain't gonna make it. Because if slash when that federal behemoth, the one with seven heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns, turns upon you, the woman, and the remnant of her seed, Revelation 12, because the beast was enraged and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. What are you gonna do? Nobody gives a shit about your Cry Precision jumpable plate carrier. What are you jumping out of? Can you run, shoot, move, communicate, sustain? Because they do have guns and tanks and bombs and planes. and it could very well get ugly. So out web, if you ain't training, you ain't gaining, boys and girls. Yeah, 100%. All right, guys, that's the brief for today. That's what I got anyway. There's more to the written brief. If you're on Patreon, you have it, but that's what I'm going to do. Zelensky and Russian incursion. I think the reason I find it interesting that all of a sudden that the Ukrainians are actually making headway in the war against Russia. The timing is very interesting because there's the Democratic National Committee has been laundering money through Ukraine since February 24th, 2022, if not earlier than that. But now all of a sudden they're gaining ground. And also, interestingly, the Russians aren't doing a great job of pushing them back, which is leading to certain regions in Russia questioning the leadership of Putin. The timing is just very interesting to me. And it's argued that Ukraine could possess more Russian land than Russia possesses Ukrainian land at the rate that they are going currently. Okay, what's up, Rhonda Miller? Thanks, Bear. You're welcome. Rhonda, I was eating some of that super crunchy peanut butter that you gave me at class a few weeks ago, 2 days ago, in the same exact manner that I first began eating it, by taking a protein bar and slathering, I don't know, tablespoons are hard to, who uses a tablespoon anymore? A shit ton of peanut butter on that protein bar. So thank you, Rhonda. I think of you every time I eat the super crunchy peanut butter because I'm not a loser. I like crunchy peanut butter, not creamy. Just, yeah, said it out loud. Said it out loud. There you go. Team Crunchy is going to dominate at the ruckus. We're going to dominate. Yep. And a thought occurs to me. What if we win? What do you mean, what if we win? When we win the tug of war at the ruckus, March 7th through 9th, 2025, refugeruckus.com. When we win, maybe Team Creamy has to get the soles of their feet slathered with crunchy peanut butter and then go ruck like that. Yeah, how you like that? Your feet are going to get destroyed. Yeah, I'm going to show up with crunchy peanut butter woad war paint on my face like Braveheart, but in orange. You guys are going down. You guys are going down. So anyway, this Ukrainian incursion into Russia bears watching. And then Biden says, hey, there's going to be a ceasefire deal in Gaza by the end of next week. Okay, he's been saying that for several weeks already. And also, I don't know if you know this, but he has dementia and is a retarded pedophile. So I don't exactly consider him to be a trustworthy news source. Wear your Trump wig when you do that. Oh, when I dominate Team Creamy at the tug of war at the ruckus. Yeah. I actually probably need to tell Sarah, our event planner, about all of this because she's actually in charge of coordinating the event, and I have not communicated to her at all that this is going down. But it's going down. It's going down. I have a rucksack full of crunchy peanut butter. I like it. Hey, ultimate survival tool. You need a Rambo knife, like 40 pounds of crunchy peanut butter, like a wristwatch, and a ferrocerium rod, like a rifle. You're good. You're good. Crunchy, the best, believe it. Guys, that's the show. As I told you, brought to you by Yahweh, your Elohim, the Lord your God. As you saw in this brief today, we actually did a fair bit of discussing the Father and the Bible today. And so I think that's pretty cool. Brought to you by the fine people over at Patreon. The video this morning on Patreon, so Patreon's $10 a month. I already had one comment on there that said this video alone is $100 video. And what we were discussing this morning was a field hospital / ambulance for preppers. What do you need to have on hand? How do you need to situate it? What are the protocols, et cetera, et cetera? It's a 40-some minute long video. Very good video. So if you're on Patreon and haven't watched that yet, go watch it. If you're not on Patreon, that one video walking through how to lay out a field hospital whether that's in a room in your house, or uh, pre-built shed, or it's a tent, or it's a couple of pop-up canopies, or it's an enclosed trailer that you're using as part of your bug out, whatever it might be. Um, Dana, that video was so good. Thank you. Um, Jupiter. Publix also has creamy a buy one get one. Yes, because nobody's buying it. You don't have to discount the crunchy because all the killers out there are buying the crunchy. Okay. Update on Caleb House. Yeah, I'll touch on that in a minute. So that one video on Patreon, I've already got people commenting this morning. This one video is worth $100, and Patreon's $10 a month. And there's 5,000 videos in the backlog there. That's where all the good stuff lives, especially the preparedness stuff, the homesteading stuff, the instructional stuff. And so when you spend your $10 on Patreon, you get access to that backlog, and you can use the Patreon search bar and just put in, I don't know, I want to know stuff about chainsaw, and you'll boom, 50 posts on chainsaw, including the Chainsaw 101 series. Or I want to know medical stuff. You put in medical, and you find the field hospital videos, series of videos on Patreon, or whatever it might be. It's all there. So check that out. The link is in the description. Also, if you sign up for a year, you get 2 months free. Patreon wants people to encourage that, so I'm just going to tell you. Also brought to you by Refuge Medical. Okay, so I'm the founder and CEO of Refuge Medical. For those that don't know, we make the best first aid kits on planet Earth. That's not an exaggeration. It's true. 132 lives saved to date. Praise the Most High. And it's back to school time. And so this is the kiddo kit right here. This kiddo kit is very compact. Here's my hand. There's the kiddo kit. Okay, so it's very compact, and it's got a bunch of stuff in it. It's got one Slishman pressure wrap, which is like a pediatric tourniquet for children. God forbid you ever need it, but there it is. A pair of Halo chest seals, a package of compressed gauze, a compression bandage, a survival blanket, Mylar blanket, flat duct tape, and a pair of nitrile gloves. And this is like $59, and it fits in a backpack or a purse or a glove box or wherever else, in center console, up on a shelf in your house. Great addition. If you already have like a Boo Boo's first aid kit in your house, this is a great addition for bleeding control, airway, and respiratory right here. It's a great addition, specifically designed for kids. It's $59. Okay. So check that out, refugemedical.com. If you use promo code BearNation, you get free shipping regardless of how much you spend. If you don't, free shipping starts at $2.99 and up. So, and then this is the travel kit. Okay. So notice that this is red with reflective, and this is so that you can see it in the dark after an accident. And this has loop on the back of it. It mounts to your headrest. You can also belt mount it or put it on, if you have one of those panels behind your car seat, you can hang it on there. Whatever, like, however, it has multiple mounting options, but it comes with the ability to mount it to your headrest. Okay. I've got my Gen 7 cat tourniquet right up here on top where I can get at it. Got my little pen light up here. I've got my Sharpie. This is mostly for drawing mustaches on your casualty, if they don't already have one, because we don't want them, listen, they're already physically injured. We don't want them to be embarrassed. And so draw a mustache on them so at least they'll fit in around here. And then, it's got Velcro here so you can put whatever patch you want on it. I have one that was sent to me by the mom of one of the guys that, well, I guess I can't say that. But anyway, there's the patch. Totally not a spy balloon. Float around and find out. Yeah, pretty cool. And so then the way this works, if you have an accident or you're responding to an accident, you see somebody on the side of the road. Again, 68 of the 132 lives saved to date were motor vehicle accidents. 68. And the most dangerous thing we do as Americans is drive. And 75 to 90% of trauma injuries, trauma casualties expire before they make it to the hospital. Trauma meaning critical bleeding, okay? Which is why we have our cat tourniquet up here. And then watch this. In here, there's a little, there it is. See that handle? Ta-da! Here's my inner pouch. Pop this open, and there's my blowout kit. Nice and organized. Made in America, guaranteed forever. 2 pairs of gloves, wound packing gauze, mylar blanket. There's a Slishman right there, which is again pediatric tourniquet. Compact pressure bandage right here. And then I've also got, like, okay, Bear, I get it, but yep, I've also got chest seals, and I've got Band-Aids, because I know moms and dads, we need Band-Aids, right? I've got Band-Aids, petrolatum gauze, boo-boo wipes, flat duct tape, OTC meds, your Benadryl, your Tylenol, Motrin, et cetera, all in here. And so it's got trauma capability, but it's also got boo-boo stuff in it. You know, if Susie falls off of her bike or bangs her chin on the monkey bars at the playground or whatever, all good to go. Compact. This is a compact little kit, and it can be mounted however, wherever. And if you like that style of kit, we also make one called the OPFAC, Operational First Aid Kit, which is designed to be worn on your kit, you know, for your cool guys that are going to survive the end of the world as we know it by shooting all their AKs into the bad guys when they show up, or whatever you're into. Your ability to maintain a comfortable distance from tyranny for the preservation of life. Check out the OPFAC. All that stuff is at refugemedical.com. Again, promo code is Bear Nation for free shipping. Okay? Okay, Bear. Cool. Somebody asked for Caleb House update. Care House 1 is on site, on the foundation, and trim out is being accomplished probably as we speak. Yeah, it's 8:49 in the morning. This should have already started. Barn dough, so the barn building is up, is weather tight. Concrete is poured. The apartment in the barn, which is for security and caretaker personnel, is framed, and the electrical is roughed in, and the plumbing is roughed in. And so they're going to start, you know, hanging drywall, doing finish out, all of that. And then let's see what else. The barn has electrical and has lighting. Thank you very much to all the volunteers who have come out to participate. If you want to come out to participate, volunteer your time at Caleb House, there is a process, because you don't just walk on. You do not just walk on at Caleb House. And so you're going to have to submit to a background check. There's going to be a Q&A. There is some ass sniffing. Okay. If you want to do that, go to calebhouse.org, capital K, Caleb House. What's up, Striker Cade? calebhouse.org. And then we are working on the layout for the subsurface utilities for the administration building. And that's the next big thing. And then we will grade dirt and dig trenches and dig for footers. And then it'll be concrete time for the admin building. And then we also are going to stick build our, we have another house, another care house that we're going to be stick build that is going to be specifically for like ADA compliant or children that have, that are otherly abled. How's that for an answer? So can quick clot combat gauze still be used if it's expired? Yeah, probably, as long as the packaging hasn't been compromised. Most of these things have expiration dates, and the reason for that is they have an NSN, a national stock number, and the way that companies stay in business is by putting an expiration date on shit that doesn't expire, so that every 5 years the government has to buy more $12,000 toilet seats. So yeah, as long as it's not, the packaging isn't compromised, it wasn't exposed to salt water, and it wasn't exposed to UV, should be good to go. Okay. Grindstoneministries.com. Tornadoes and hurricanes. If you want to come do disaster relief with us or support that ministry, go to grindstoneministries.com. It's a blast. You guys are going to love it. The stuff for KH says it will be there today. Thank you, Jessica Bennett. Jessica Bennett. Why do I am calling you Jessica Bubba? I don't know. Thanks, Jess. And let's pray. Oh, good morning, Father Yah. Father, thank you for allowing us to wake up today and to be on this side of the dirt. Thank you for the very breath that is in our lungs. Father, I pray that today you would remind us to be joyful and that we would find peace in our relationship with you as we continue to walk with you. Father, we know that this world is just a mess, and that probably does not surprise you at all because you've been looking down upon this from jump, wondering what the hell are those kiddos doing down there? And yet, and still, you love us and relentlessly pursue us, and for that, I'm thankful. I do not understand the depth of your grace and mercy, but I am thankful that it is not possible for us to run far enough away from you to screw this up so bad that you don't love us anymore. So, Father, thank you for that. Father, please keep us vertically aligned, focused on you. Father, let us be good brothers and good sisters in our left and right relationships. Let us be a light unto the world that when people look at us, they see you. Father, pour out your spirit on us, that you would give us your words, that you would put us where we need to be, that you would arrange divine appointments. Let us speak your words. Give us the conviction and the ability to operate in your will. Father, protect us. And protect us from ourselves and our own fear and self-loathing and uncertainties, Father. And let us not suffer from the identity crisis of wondering who we are because we belong to you, because we are sons and daughters of the Most High and we are covered by the blood of the Lamb. Father, protect us from ourselves and let no weapon formed against us prosper. Father, heal those that need healing. Anoint those that need anointing. Comfort those that need comfort. Provide for those that need provision. Strengthen those that need strength. Bring peace to those who struggle with peacefulness. Father, remember your kiddos today as we do our best to remember you. Father, if there's anybody out there going through some stuff, just minister to them. Please miraculously show up in ways that are undeniable and inexplicable, that only you would receive the glory. And Father, be there anything within the sound of my voice that is not of you, we come together in agreement and rebuke it in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach and command it to destroy itself. Father, thank you for power and strength and authority in the name of Yeshua. Please make your face to shine upon us today. Give us your peace, your shalom. Father, please protect us, provide for us, and bless us. In Yeshua's name, amen. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for hanging. I will see you guys when I see you. Shalom.